This is TWiT.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to TWiT, your tech hub for intelligent, thoughtful conversations. If you want to take your experience to the next level and support what we do here at TWiT, say goodbye to ads and say hello to Club TWiT. With Club TWiT, you unlock all our shows ad-free. You also get exclusive members-only content. We do a lot of great programming just for the club members. You also get behind-the-scenes access with our TWiT Plus bonus feed and live video streams while we're recording. And don't forget the fantastic members-only Discord. It's where passionate tech fans like you and me hang out, swap ideas, and connect directly with all of our hosts. It's my favorite social network. I think you'll like it too. Club TWiT. It's not just a subscription. It's how you support what we do and become part of the TWiT family. Your membership directly supports the network, helping us stay independent and keep making the shows you love. If you're ready to upgrade your tech podcast experience, head to twit.tv/Club TWiT and join us today. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the club.
Hello, Craftonians and Craftonites. Are you able to hear me first and foremost? It sounds like it. Timothy, are you listening to me via YouTube or via Discord? Oh, beautiful. We love to hear it. I don't know why the music is so loud today, but we'll turn... Oh, in theory, we'll turn that down. It doesn't seem to want to turn down. Oh, that's good to know. I hear music and it is incredible. Oh, I just figured out what's going on. I have Endel running. That's funny. Now you might hear some music. That is the background music I intended. Good evening, everyone, and happy holidays to you all. I hope that whether it's just the end of the year for you or you've got something fun going on, that you are enjoying yourself, more importantly, taking care of yourself. I know the winter blues have been pretty heavy here for me, so it is always important to check in with yourselves. Ooh, Paul's 3D printing. Now, do you plan to hang these ornaments on your tree? Are they going to be coasters? What are we looking at here? Yes, exact. I take vitamin D every day. I take vitamin D and K2, I think it is. Sandra is making a Braille Christmas card. Wait. Okay, we've got a lot to talk about. Very cool, Paul. Some 3D printed Christmas cards. 3D printed Christmas ornaments. No, tree ornaments. I don't know if it's for Christmas. Dustin, tell me more. Making a Braille Christmas card. Does Sandra have a tool to do this, or hand punching the dots? How's that going? And then, sorry, Dustin, but your Matter goodies are second to the Braille card. I'm very interested in that, but then I would love to hear about that. Okay, stick-on dots. Interesting. I didn't know that they made stick-on dots. Timothy is playing Minecraft, as I would expect. Timothy with the wonderful mustache and getting ready to visit family for the holidays. Now, Timothy, road trip. You don't have to tell us where you're going unless you want to, but I'd love to know how long of a road trip and what do you do while you're road tripping? Are you a person who listens to music, who listens to audiobooks, who plays episodes of The Office but doesn't watch them because you're driving? I'd love to hear more about that. How it's made did a section on how a Braille printer is made. It was quite interesting. All I'm crafting today is software configuration that doesn't suck. Oh, Wizardling. What time is it there for you, Wizardling? Wait, sorry, 4 weeks. Oh, you'll be gone for 4 weeks, not it will take you 4 weeks, because that would be horrifying. I don't even think that tells you what I listen to. Because I don't even think I said podcasts, did I? I said music, audiobooks, shows. Yeah, that I would hate I would hate to be on the road for 4 weeks. You'd have to be taking a lot of breaks. 2 weeks for my spouse's family, then 2 weeks with my parents. That's really cool that you're going to visit everyone. Is it a long trip in terms of the duration from when you leave to when you arrive at these places? 3 p.m. Wizardling. So you're in your work day, huh? Assuming you work on a Wednesday. Or I guess it'd be a Thursday there for you, huh? There's Joe. Welcome, Joe. Oh my God, 20 plus hours. May I ask, Timothy? There's no judgment here. You do what you got to do. Are planes a no-go? You don't have to explain the reason, but do you have pets or something? Or one of you does not like to fly? That just seems like a really long time. But maybe you just love each other's company, and that's fine. Fair enough, Wizardling. Are you someone who gets called in when things go awry? Wow. It is nice to have a car when you get there. Plus flights are pretty expensive. That's fair. Especially if wherever you're going is 20 plus hours away, that means that a flight's going to be pretty expensive. So, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Driving is easier when you want to bring stuff as well. Joe, this is feeling very Stephen King for me. Your work with water is really impressive, Joe. I love Welcome to Derry. I'm loving that series. So today we're not going to do mini printing today. I want to kind of kick that off again in the new year. Instead, we're going to take it easy here, and I'm going to work on a knitting project that I'm in the middle of. I'm mostly a crocheter. But today, working on a beanie with these really cool patterns in it. Yeah, I like to knit, I like to crochet, and this is a pretty chill little knitting project that I'm in the midst of. So I'll kind of explain what I'm doing. Mean to the canvas so you can be nice to the fans. All right, let's switch over to the crafting cam. So this one is knit in the round. And this round is all knits, so pretty easy to do. So I tension the same way I do in crochet, which throws off some knitters. But for me, it works. So for people who've not done this before, a knit is where you push the needle from the front underneath the front of the loop, and you take your thread and you pull it through. And a purl is just the reverse of a knit. So we're just we're just knitting this way through. Paul says, my mom used to love crochet. She went through a phase of crocheting fine white string into Christmas angels, and we took them all up to the cabin in the woods and had a rest at Christmas, cooked the turkey on the wood stove. That sounds amazing. The funny thing that you learn about crochet is that crochet basically uses, somebody said, like 3 balls of yarn per stitch, whereas knitting, you can practically knit a sweater for a house with 1 ball of yarn. And that is certainly the case. You do use a lot of yarn with crochet. I still prefer crochet to knit for sure, but I am finding value in knitting, especially as I've gotten better at it. Certainly starting out, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm sick of this. Yeah, I'm working on a pair of socks right now too, Wizardling. There is this thing though, this sort of situation that happens with socks where you work on one, you make one, and then you don't want to make the second one because it takes forever. And in fact, let me show you. I was currently in the process of working on these. I'll read Brandroid's message in just a moment. So this is a pair of socks. Can you tell I like green? You all already know that, I'm sure. This is a pair of socks I'm working on. And what's cool is they have these coniferous trees. I don't know if you can tell on them. And that part of the pattern was a lot of fun because each of the rows is different. And so you are making these trees and you have to follow very carefully with the pattern to get that to show up, right? But now I'm past the trees. And so every single row is just knit, knit, knit. And for someone with ADHD, it's not a lot of fun. So I have to work on this when I'm really I can listen to an audiobook or something and zone out. You'll notice that for this, very tiny needles. These are 2.25 millimeter needles. And as a stitch marker, I'm using the tiniest little, the babiest little jump ring you ever did see, because you need them to be small so that they don't, it doesn't pull against the stitch there as you are following through. So yeah, here's the top cuff of the sock, and then it goes through. And what I love about this yarn is that it's self-striping. So it's just 1 ball of yarn with all these colors. And as you're doing it, it just naturally self-stripes, which is nice. Yeah, exactly, Paul. Can't imagine why the yarn is green. So that is another project that I'm working on. I almost always have like 3 or 4 crochet projects going at once, or yarn projects, fiber arts projects. Let me go back now. Brandroid said, "Good evening, good fellows." Funny enough, based on the chat, it does seem like everyone is a good fellow. Except for, oh goodness, is it Sandra? So bad at names. Yeah, Sandra, thank you. I was correct. Haha, I remembered. Good evening, good fellows. This is my first foray into the crafting corner. Welcome, Brandroid. I just got myself my first Lego set as an adult. Congratulations, very exciting. And I'm greatly looking forward to the project, although it will probably take a few weeks at least. Now, I'm loving this. For a second, I thought that was a shuttle pod from Deep Space Nine, and I just about screamed in celebration for you, Brandroid. Paul, Deep Space Nine is my favorite series. Can you imagine if I'd said Enterprise? Did you ever do a rug hook project? I helped my mom do one when I was a kid. Those are interesting, but I remember my sister doing a rug. Thank you. Joe, you also feel like DS9 is the best? Of course you do. That's why we That's why we gel, friend. You are so right, Timothy. That would be a runabout, not a shuttle. Very good. Okay, we may have to agree to disagree on Cisco. I'm sorry. My favorite captain has always been, and this is, look, I used to live in Missouri. I grew up religious. I barely knew that I was black. So this is not any sort of like, quote unquote, wokeness. My favorite captain has always been Janeway. And again, like that's not for because, oh, she's a woman, so no, I just love Janeway. I really relate to Janeway. I think she's amazing and she's just really cool. Then of course, there's coffee in that nebula. So of course, but going back to DS9, Odo is my all-time favorite character. If there's anyone that I truly relate to, it's Odo. Like so much of the character growth and so much of it. I talked about how growing up, I've gotten younger as I've gotten older. You see Odo go through this period of like being so straight-laced and serious about everything, and then like learning to have fun over time, and then learning so much about him. Oh God, I love Odo so much. So yeah, and then so many other funny characters in the show as well, and just the storylines. It's just, Kira. God, I love that series. And yeah, Quark is just fun, and honestly, so are his relatives as well. So I think that's fair, Paul. In the beginning, Janeway felt too severe. I think that Kate Mulgrew grew into Janeway, and I think I would argue the writers grew into Janeway as much as we all grew to love Janeway, for those of us who do. I think that they had a concept and an archetype, and I think that Kate Mulgrew's interpretation and the way that the stories evolved over time all led to an even more like amazing character. So I think that, yeah, exactly. Renee. And every time he's ever played a character, I'm always like, I know that voice. What was I saying? Okay, so Wizardling says Deep Space Nine, very cool, but TNG remains my fondest, though empirically I liked more DS9 episodes. Voyager is okay, but I always felt they compressed the ending to deal with a sudden decision to bring the series to a conclusion. I think that when I've talked to people, this is a generalization, and I want to hear your thoughts. When I've talked to people who have said that they like, oh, my bad. You said The Next Generation. That doesn't apply. Sorry, for people who like the original series, it does seem to be a certain generation who likes the original series more than any of the others. Or it's people who have not seen all of the others. And so whenever they say, oh yes, I like that, they'll go, I'll say, well, what other series have you seen? And then they don't even name more. And it's really sad. It breaks my heart. Anyway, I'm so sorry. Why am I not clicking with SNW? What is SNW? Oh, got it. I haven't watched a lot of the new Trek, I'll be honest. And would love to, Joe. There used to be a show on the Incomparable Network called Random Trek, and basically the host would run a little random algorithm and pick a random episode across the entire series of Star Trek, including the animated stuff. And then you'd watch it, and then you'd go on the show and you'd talk about it. Amazing. Loved it. That's how I got into Star Trek in the first place, actually. So yeah, I would love to come on the show and talk Trek. 100%. Haven't watched Lower Decks either. What's everybody's take on Tuvix? What is it? Now, I feel like I'm letting myself down right now because I can't remember. It's Tuvix, isn't it? Because it's Neelix and Tuvok. I think it was Tuvix. Anyway, I went as Tuvok for Halloween one year. You're right. Look, my yarn project has not moved at all because I'm too busy. Too busy. And then what about Paris and Janeway as the lizards? That was so weird. So weird. Yeah, exactly. We don't talk about that. So weird. That's like saying there were any Highlander movies after the first. Couldn't be. There can only be one. One movie. That's very good, Timothy. Okay, here's a question for you. What is a musical episode in a series that you actually did like? I'll go first. It's absolutely Grey's Anatomy. The musical episode of Grey's Anatomy is very good. If my partner was here, he would say the musical episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Speaking of, if anyone comes across a less than $1,000 copy of the vinyl of that episode, there's a vinyl of the soundtrack of that episode, let me know, because I'm pretty sure it will make my partner's life if he were to own that. So I would ask that you all keep your eyes out. I don't like the singing episodes. Okay, wait. SNW did a musical episode. Yes, Paul did not like that. Oh, I love this. Everyone's being very considered about what their answers are. It's also okay to say none if you don't like any. Fair enough. I like stage musicals if I know that is what I'm going to see, but I don't think I want to watch musical TV like, say, Glee. Glee. I think I'd rather be smacked in the face with a foot than to have to watch Glee. And if you know anything about my lore, you know how how severe that is. Joe, you have to tell us what you're making for dinner, and then you can go. Oh, very clever. Okay, Dustin, that's very clever. Oh, Beyond Burgers. That's fine. That's so cool, Dustin. That's not even how I imagined it. Because I didn't think about how you can just use big dots to make words. I don't know why I didn't think that, but yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, give us your musical recommendation, Joe. Suspiria. Beelzebub. Voyage of the Rock Aliens. Okay, I love a campy film, I'll tell you that. I'll tell you what. And I'm digging the hand, that metal hand. Well, I didn't like grease, but I do. But I'm weird. I know I'm weird. Good for you, Paul. I'm proud of you. And I mean that. Okay, Dustin, the simplest form of Braille. Now you've got to tell me more. Is there a more complex form of Braille? Fair enough, Joe, fair enough. And I'm glad to. I'm proud of you. So can you imagine, this is what I'm doing right now. I'm knitting, right? It's just knits across the board. And can you imagine doing this, but on that molecular level that was the socks, but for round after round after round after round? You all are making it much easier because I'm getting to talk to you and distract myself from what would otherwise be a very boring set of actions over and over and over again. And then there's also the opportunity for RSI. Dustin says there's contracted Braille. Exactly. Good point, Timothy. And uncontracted Braille. So the uncontracted is just like the plain letters as we do in English to spell. Okay, so kind of like Morse code in the sense that each little thing is just a representation of a letter. Oh, I should probably be reading that as there's contracted Braille and uncontracted Braille, I would imagine. I would be so sad, Paul, if I had to pull out a round because I don't have a lifesaver set up. So it would just be... And that's the thing is, if there's one thing I'm not necessarily... I think now I could probably do it, but even a couple of months ago, I would be going, I don't know where this round ends and starts. SHD is should. Okay, that makes sense. So it's just easier and quicker to read. It's almost that's almost it's not onomatopoetic, but what's the word I'm looking for? Phonetic. That's almost phonetic. Should. SHD, should. Yeah. Have you ever looked at stenography? Do you like jazz? My grandma knew a shorthand, but I don't know what version she knew. I know I kind of felt like it was akin to ASL, but I don't know if it goes as deep per se, because ASL has a little bit more involved. But maybe there's more to it that I'm not picking up on. Oh, I forgot to tell you, Paul. We did start watching that show. Boy, howdy, is it ever steamy. I think my favorite thing watching it is thinking about the people who thought they were going to be watching a hockey show. And then what they get is this. That perhaps is my favorite thing. Let's see. Now things are going to get complicated because the pattern says that what we need to do is knit 2 together, which in shorthand, well, in a pattern is K2TOG, knit 2 together. Then we knit 11, then we slip, slip, knit, and then we place a marker. The show, Paul will have to tell you because I forget the name of it. It's like not Challengers. That's a different steamy thing. Except that's hardly steamy, frankly. Will they, won't they situation, and that's just annoying to me. It's a show on HBO Max in the US. Ostensibly about hockey. Tonsil hockey. Bada bing, bada boom. Ha ha. Professor Panda Bear wants to watch the gay hockey show. Heated rivalry. Yes. Okay, so. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. Maybe Professor Panda Bear doesn't. Oh, it's on your watch list. Well, there we go. So. It is heated. We're going to knit 2 together. We're going to knit 11, and then we're going to slip, slip, knit, and then we'll place a marker. So when we knit 2 together, what that means is we are going to take the needle and we are going to slip it in knitwise through 2 stitches. And so here you can see I've got these 2 stitches. And when we slip it in knitwise, that means from this side, from front to back. So basically our needle will go through like this. Okay. And then we're going to pull that yarn through, and that's a knit 2 together. So once again, I'll get my tension set up. There's a lot of tension in that show. And then we'll slip through. One of the main things with this yarn in particular, this yarn is made up of like individual threads. And so you have to be careful that you don't accidentally go in between the threads. So that was a knit 2 together. Now we're just going to do 11 standard knits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh God, I love the pit so much. Love the pit. I can't wait for season 2. Now, with a slip slip knit, this one's kind of interesting because you're actually going to take 2 of these stitches and you're going to slip them onto your right needle from your left needle, again, knitwise. So as if to knit, we slip from the left side of the stitch, front to back, and I'm going to take that and place it on the other needle, and then I'm going to do the same with the next one. And then what I'm going to do is take those 2 stitches and take my left needle and just slide them through just like that. So from the back to the front, back onto the left needle so that I have them there. And then we knit those 2 together. So it ends with another knit 2 together. But what we did is we changed the way that those 2 stitches were, that those 2 loops were positioned. So by slipping them onto the second needle, whoops, and there, it's kind of hard to see, but right there is a loose thread. So you can see that I did not properly pick this up. So we're going to try that again. Make sure that we don't catch on that thread. Go through and knit those two together. And now slide that off and we're good to go. Now we have to place our marker after the slip, slip, knit. So we'll place our marker like so, and then we repeat. So it's knit 2 together, knit 11, slip, slip, knit, place marker. Let's see what everyone's saying. We started the studio yesterday on a whim. It's way better than I expected. I agree. Oh my goodness. I love Catherine O'Hara, Dustin. Absolutely. Yeah, the studio's funny. And Catherine O'Hara is Catherine O'Hara, so that also works. The Pit, if you're squeamish, might not be the show for you. They got a lot of real looking stuff, I'll tell you that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whoops, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then we slip, slip, knit. I'm not a huge fan of Seth Rogen either. And he did do a very good job in this. Don't let that him doing, yeah, exactly. He's not doing a weed joke throughout the whole thing. He actually has substance. Wait, tell me how everybody feels about the substance. I kind of wish Joe was here too, because I'm curious to hear how Joe feels about the substance. If you watched the substance anyway. So we're going to slip these two, swap them back over to our left needle, and then knit 2 together. Okay, Sandra and I are best friends now. If we weren't already, we're best friends now. I hated it. I thought it was terrible. I don't like a pretentious movie. I don't. I don't like a movie that's trying to say so many things, but burying it under layers of I don't know, of artistic arrogance. And therefore, I don't like that film. Deeply disturbing and gross. It was absolutely both of those things. And we'll place that after that slip, slip, knit. And then we'll knit 2 together. I don't know what schlocky means, but I agree. As far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned, it was the schlockiest ending I've ever seen in a film. It was gratuitous. It was nonsensical. And it wanted too much from me. That's how I feel about it. I think it wanted too much from me. 1, 2, 3, 4. I do like an out loud count. I'm sorry. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's see. artistic arrogance. I just imagined King Charles saying that. Schlock, noun, informal, North American English, cheap or inferior goods or material. Trash. It was trash. I love it. It was trash. All right, we'll slip, slip, knit. We bring them back to the left needle. And we knit 2 together. And then we place our marker. I like the out loud counting. Listening to Mikah knit is like listening to Bob Ross paint. You're going to make me cry. That's the kindest thing. Thank you for saying that. That's the whole point of this show is that. That's what I hope to achieve with this show. All right, so now we're going to knit 2 together again. Sometimes I like to slip my right needle purlwise in order to kind of stretch out the stitches. And that way, it's easier for me to pass the needle through. Exactly, the happy little trees on the socks. So that's the knit 2 together. Now we're going to knit 11 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Someone just asked me today if I was a Muppet, what Muppet would I be? And I said the count: 5, 6. Ooh, attention. 7. My yarn ball is not trying to give me more yarn. 8, 9. I would love to hear 10. If you were a Muppet, what Muppet would you be? The reason why I think I might be the Count is because I think, A, it'd be super cool to live in a castle. I think the Count is kind of a ham, and I'm definitely a ham. I think vampires are pretty cool, and he's a nice one. I imagine he eats, animals. I mean, I eat animals too. I'm not a vegetarian, so that seems reasonable. And I love capes, frankly. And I love a good accent as well, so I think that's why I'm the Count. Ooh, Fozzie Bear. We love Fozzie Bear. I think Sesame Street... Oh, wait, how does it go? It's funny that you say this, Paul. There's a rule about Sesame Street and the rest of the Muppets. And it's like, the Sesame Street puppets are, I think, Muppets, but the rest of them, but they can't, I don't remember how it goes. There's a rule, so I might be wrong. I don't know. Did I do 11? I think I just did 11. I think it's time to slip, slip, knit. Well, we'll see. If I've got 12 stitches, then we're good. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. All right, slip, slip, knit. Somebody can look it up because I'm pretty sure there's a rule about whether... I thought that the that the Sesame Street puppets were Muppets, but they're like, it's almost like squares, a rectangle, but rectangles and squares. Not all rectangles are squares. But I might be misremembering because someone did, they had a whole little like, excuse me moment with me, but it was live. I had somebody, okay. So sometimes when you are trying to slip, slip, knit, and more importantly, knit 2 together, The rule regarding Sesame Street and the Muppets is primarily a legal distinction based on intellectual property ownership, which evolved from their shared origin with creator Jim Henson. All the puppet characters created by Jim Henson and his team were originally referred to as Muppets. The characters on Sesame Street, such as Big Bird, Elmo, and Cookie Monster, are technically Muppets, the same type of puppet as Kermit the Frog or Miss Piggy. Exactly, Timothy. So if you're having trouble with a slip-slip-knit, which is slipping two knitwise and then knitting two together, or just a standard knit two together, and you are knitting in the round, just get enough freedom on your right needle. Basically try to take off all of the stitches on your right needle, push them down onto the cord, and then you've got so much freedom and dexterity, essentially, to be able to push through the back and knit two together like you intend. Ta-da! Now we'll place another marker. This should be the last marker that we place. That's a big one. That's also a big one. That's a little bit smaller. There we go. Whoa, Todd Buddy. Thank you for that was a long time ago. I'm impressed. The league. Okay, wait, hold on. The confusion in the rule stemmed from the separate sales of the franchise of Sesame Street characters. In 2001, the full rights to the specific characters created for Sesame Street were acquired by Sesame Workshop, formerly the Children's Television Workshop. The Muppets, in 2004, the Walt Disney Company acquired the Muppets franchise, including characters like Kermit the Frog, Miss Piggy, and Fozzie Bear. The term Muppet itself became a legal trademark of Disney. Can you link to one for me, Todd Buddy? Because this is specifically the musical episode of Buffy. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, I think my count might be off in terms of the pattern, but that's okay. We shall see. So here we're going to knit two together. So to be clear, basically the original pattern called for 61 stitches. But what I needed was for the hat to be a little bit bigger in circumference. And so I had to add a few more stitches for that, but account for this round and the upcoming rounds, which are decreases. So we'll see if I did my math correctly here. So we start by knitting two together. Got a lot of freedom here on my needle, which is great. And then we do 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't really like Buffy, I'll be honest. But it's my significant other's favorite show. So you watch it or you appreciate it, you know? Because obviously there's something to it. I don't really like, I don't know if it's got special effects and it's older, I'm typically not drawn to it. Unless, I mean, there are some caveats because I think of like E.T. Obviously, I love E.T. and I like the original Star Wars films. But yeah, a television show with special effects, it was sort of, in my mind, a for its time kind of thing. And I don't have much nostalgia about the 90s, whereas my partner does. And I think that might play a role in the appreciation of that film, of that show. Thank you, Wizardling. Wow, you finished your automations even? Dustin, we didn't get to hear about what new Matter stuff you bought today. So my count was off by 1 in terms of adding extra stitches. So I will keep that in mind for next time. What if I knitted 3 together? Would any of you tell on me? Can we keep it between us? I'm going to knit 3 together. No one will know. Just don't tell the knit police. Are the needles connected together? Yes, they are. That's a great question, Timothy. So, you are... The reason why the needles are connected together is it's based on the project. So I am making a hat. I know, Professor Panda Bear. It's only because a decrease ends up not making that much of a difference in the long run when it comes to dropping stitches. So here is the knit 3 together, and then this is, let's see, let's go back. So there's a knit 3 together, and then if we go back, we've got the knit 2 together. So between those two, there's not too much of a difference. You can see on the far left and on the far right, the difference between the two. And if we were looking at, much bigger numbers, then that's going to be a problem. But for this, it's all right. It's all right. So back to your question, Timothy. When you're working on a project that needs to be in the round, then you want to have your needles connected, because what it allows you to do is essentially work in a continuous, you're taking the thread and you're just going up until you're done, or down, depending. So with a sock, for example, I'm working down. So you'll actually, if I pull out my little sock here again, you'll notice that these are also connected. And so I'm working with one continuous piece of yarn, starting at the top and just going down, row by row. If you're making a scarf, then you are working from one needle to the other, switching back and forth. Now, you can technically work with circular needles. That's what these are called, circular needles, on a flat project. Let me see. I'm going to go grab the scarf that I'm working on. So you can technically work with circular needles on a flat project, but there's just no reason. Well, I mean, there are reasons to, but I don't need to. So I've got the 2 needles in this case that are not connected. And so essentially what you do is you're just swapping back and forth between the needles. So I'll foop, 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 and as I'm doing those little stitches, it'll all end up on this needle, and then I turn, and now I have this on the left, but it'll have the stuff on it, and this on the right, and it will not have anything on it. And so you're just swapping back and forth between the needles as you're working through. So something that's worked in the round and not worked flat. What's great about working in the round is that you can continue. This is a little complicated, but think about this. When you're working in the round, you can continue to make the same stitches as you would expect all the way through, because you are never, with certain caveats, you're never switching to the other side of your project. You're always staying on the same side of the project. So as I continue to go up, I know that when I'm trying to knit, that is what I'm trying to do. So I can knit, I can purl as I need to, and that's good as can be. However, when you're working flat, let's say you're working on something that is knits all the way across. Think about this. Let's put it on the side, right? So I'm knitting, and it's moving, right, from this left needle to the right needle all the way through. And as I go, it's going to then get turned, and on this side, well, I should say, it's going to stay on this side, right, onto this needle. So when I take it and I move it over, it's on the other side. So if you are exclusively trying to do knit stitches all the way up, then you actually have to work purls, because that's the reverse of a knit, the next time, so that the other side of your work, which is called the right side of your work, stays as all knits. You've got your right side and your wrong side when you're working in the flat. Whereas with working in the round, you usually don't have to worry about right side, wrong side. And that's what I like about making things like beanies versus on flat needles, where I've really got to think, especially with this is called the seed stitch. And it's a stitch where you reverse. So it's knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. And then on the next row, you have to do the reverse of the one behind it. So here, it's kind of hard to see, but at the very top here, that is a purl, which means I have to do the opposite of it. So I will do a knit on top of that, and then I'll do a purl because this is a knit, and then I'll do a knit, purl, all the way through. And then on the next round, I've got to do the exact opposite in order to pull out these little bumps. What I love about knitting is that I think it really quickly it's very satisfying, the way that these patterns form and the way that the yarn kind of takes on shape, versus with crochet, it can kind of take a while to see the pattern and see kind of what you are making. I want to show you too one of my favorite crochet stitches, which is called the waffle stitch. And with the waffle stitch, you get these really cool squares that kind of look like a waffle. And so this is a scarf that I'm working on with this really nice flannel yarn. You can see, and if you wanted to, sometimes crocheters will actually take this internal area and use a different yarn in there to kind of contrast it. So hopefully that answers your question, Timothy. Let's see. Dustin says, so I set the laundry room up with a motion sensor and a bulb so it turns on and off as we're in there. Fantastic. Dustin shows us the card that is done in Braille, and I'm going to pull that up to show you all. Where are my images? There they are. Come on. You can do it, Ecamm. So you can see Braille, and it says, Merry Christmas and Happy 2026. You have to put a hashtag or an octothorpe in front of a number because it tells the reader that a number is about to start. Now, you don't have to put one at the end. Is that because the person knows? I guess they would be feeling a letter next. So that makes sense. And then, let's see, Todd Buddy says, darn, they are the Broadway musical. There are plenty of compilations from seasons of Buffy, but not a certain episode. I'm a vinyl guy. Please do, please do, Todd Buddy. Feel free to direct. I'm going to add you as a friend. Feel free to direct message me, mention me, whatever. I would love, since you're a vinyl person, I'd love to know. Dustin says, without the octothorpe or the pound sign, the dots would read as BJBF. That is interesting. So they recycle shapes for numbers. Paul says, if you did all knits, it would eventually curl instead of lay flat. On a flat project? No, what would happen is... yeah, exactly, Paul. That's the problem with crochet. Again, it's a lot of yarn. If I did this as knits on one side and then knits on the other, it would end up being rows of purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit. And so that's actually it would be a nice outcome. It would essentially look like this down here, but vertically, because this is a knit purl rib. So this is what it would end up looking like. Knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. So but you would, if you think about a scarf, you would almost want it to be ribbed on the horizontal instead of the vertical, right? Well, okay, let me, you would almost want it to be ribbed on the long side going down instead of up and down. I think, at least for me, that's how I would want it. But it just depends. So yeah, if you wanted it that way. So I like the seed stitch. I think it's a cool look. And so that's why I'm doing the alternating. Otherwise, what I would do is I would do knit purl all the way across on each row. Knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, 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 knit. And then on the next one, I would do the exact same instead of alternating. And then the same on the next one. And that way the ribs would go vertically up and down like this. Whereas what you were talking about, Paul, would make the ribs go like this. If that makes sense. It's a lot. Let's see. At the end of the 2026 is a comma, so that helps. Yeah. Happy BJBF is really funny. Letters A through J are recycled as 1 through 0. Brandroid says 10 p.m. on the East Coast and I have to go. Thanks so much for being here, Brandroid. Says, I'll try to make the next one with some updates on my Lego Enterprise D. Would love to. Tonight I didn't do much beyond clearing the table, sorting the 30 parts bags, and just starting on bag 1. Thank you so much for being here, Brandroid. Oh, wow. It's past 7, so I actually have to be going as well. I've got to make dinner. In any case, it's been a lovely, lovely time with you all. As you likely know, we will not be back until the new year. So I hope that you all have a lovely end of your year. I know it can be very stressful this time of year. So I hope that you all take some time to breathe in, breathe out. And, I think it's worth kind of celebrating the fact that, look, you made it this far. And that's saying something. I love being able to do this. Yes, that's it. That's it, Todd Buddy. Once more with feeling. That's the one. But I cannot spend $500 on it. If it ever drops down to like $250, catch me. Yeah, that's right. I'll see some of you for Tech News Weekly tomorrow. So thank you and good night to all of my wonderful Craftonians and Craftonites. See you soon. Bye-bye.